Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, Chi the Reality Queen, and I am back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. Today we'll be talking about Survivor episode 6. So, it's a new season, so they do things a little bit differently. Everybody gets a letter on their island talking about drop your buff. We're now meeting at another island. You have 10 minutes to pack up your stuff. So Tika and Soka get that message. Ratu gets the message that everybody will be coming to their island. There's 12 people left, and so you think it's the merge. But no, the letter doesn't say merge. The letter says, oh, we're just all coming to this island. So Carson is talking, and he's like, okay, I had this idol that I brought back from when I switched teams, but it says when everybody's together, so I don't think it's worth anything anymore. And he tells everybody that, but he tells everybody that in hopes of getting information, which of course it works because people are slow. And Lauren's like, yeah, I'm just gonna put it out there, have an extra vote. Girl, is you dumb? I mean, luckily that did not come to bite her in the butt, but you didn't have to say anything. Okay, thanks for that information. Everybody always talks about Survivor. The most important thing to have is information. So if you don't give anybody real information, but you take all their good information, then you're good. But it's just silly. And then Carson tells everybody that Jamie also has an idol from, I believe, Soka, but she doesn't know that it's a fake idol. But either way, she thinks she has one. Then when they all meet together, Josh tells Brandon that he does have an idol, but then he tells Jamie that he used the idol that he got on the journey, and he doesn't have another one, but he created a fake idol. And then I'm like, Josh, you're not thinking straight. When you're trying to create gameplay, you have to tell the person that you're going to lie to other people and say that this is a fake idol. It seemed based on the edit that he just told her that he has like a little fake idol, but he didn't say these are the people I'm going to tell that and these are the people I'm going to tell this. But it also kind of is a little different because Josh thought he was in a really good position on his original team. So clearly he's not very good at awareness because he didn't realize that he was on the outs and he was only saved by the merge, or not by the merge, but by the switching of teams. So he's coming back thinking, oh, I'm in a great position because the people I just left were like this. And then I'm on this team and they only have 2 people. So it doesn't matter if people like them or not because I'm in such a great position. I don't need to work with Carolyn. I don't need to work with Jam Jam. I'm good all on my own. But Josh doesn't realize that everyone on his team hates him. Jam Jam is feeling isolated. Oh, Jamie tells everybody immediately what Josh said because she wants her people to feel like she's on their side. And the truth is, like I said, everybody just wants Josh out. So everybody is working to piece together the information that they got from Josh because Josh is publico enemigo numero uno, 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 uno. Shout out to Diddy for that remix. But yeah, they don't like him. And Carolyn is overwhelmed with this amount of people. You can see it, like she can't even be herself. She can't even talk. She can't be excited. She can't be crazy. Like she literally is like stuck. She can't even do anything. And it's crazy because like Jam Jam is talking. I forgot who he was talking to, but he even says it. He's like, the Carolyn you see, that's like level 1 Carolyn. Like Carolyn is not even who she's supposed to be. And it's kind of funny that he points that out because it's so obvious, like, especially since we've all been watching, like the people who have seen all teams. The other people may not know, but the people who have seen all teams is like, oh, this girl is like calm. But we're like, no, she's crazy. She's being calm. Yeah, Carson wants to get the gang back together. He wants him, Jam Jam, and Carolyn to work together, which I'm glad for because I think that was a good group. Carolyn also wants to work with Carson again, but she's iffy on Jam Jam. And luckily, Carson's like, come on, get it together with Jam Jam because we are a thing, right? Like, we're going to keep it on the low so people don't know, but we're a thing and make sure that is clear, which I kind of like. Franny and Matt's showman's like, I need them to get one of them up out of here. It's so funny because I really like this season and how it's playing out. But for some reason, the actual people are a little lackluster. I don't know if that makes any sense because you're like, well, how do you like the season if you don't really care for the people? I love Carolyn, love Jam Jam, but I feel like some of these other people are just so unimportant. Jamie, Heidi, Franny, Matt, like they have a couple, Kane, but it's just like these people are just there, like because Survivor has to have X amount of people to start the show, 18 or 20 or whatever it is. So many of these people just feel like filler people. Whereas in past seasons, like I've really enjoyed characters that only were there for like 2 days, you know? So I don't know. I kind of feel a little different this time. Like some of these characters I just don't really care for. But the season is good and the things that are happening in this season are good. So I like this season. I'm a fan of 44 so far. We're going to see how things go when they merge because they haven't merged yet, but they're all on one island. So then they do the immunity challenge, and basically what happens is they're going to split the teams into two. The 6 that win will join, they will be ready to join the merge. They will get a merge feast, and then the other 6 will have to be who everybody is able to vote out. So all 12 people will vote, but only 6 people's names are up for voting. So they do it, and it's like they have to move this big ball, get through all these obstacles, unlock a key, unlock a puzzle. Now, like I mentioned before, they doing the same puzzles now. So the puzzle is something that Carson had 3D printed a million times and had practiced so much. So when it came down to it, he finished it, it seemed like in seconds. Obviously, that might have been editing, but it was so quick. So Carson's team wins, and who's on his team is Carson, Brandon, Jamie, Matt, Franny, and Carolyn. So that team is safe. So the other 6 people, Lauren, Danny, Kane, Josh, Heidi, I believe that's it, are all now up for vote. So the winner of the team, like I said, gets to go enjoy, well, before I get to that, like I said before, I kind of stopped that thought, but what I was saying is that now that everybody knows that the puzzles are like the same, if you just practice it, you'll just come in there and breeze through it. And like I said, this time, because Carolyn was on that team and I want her to stay and I like her, I want her to make the merge, I was happy that it worked out in her favor. However, if it was like she was on the other team and she was getting ready to go home, I'd be like, dang, like why they gotta do my girl like that? But, you know, I guess it just depends on whose favor it's in, if I'm gonna like that someone's practiced the challenge or not. Also, I'm not saying you can't practice endurance challenges, but at the same time, the pressure, the weather conditions, those are things that you can't practice. Like if the water is high tide, you can't practice that. Like, you know, if the wind is blowing, if it's raining hard, these are things that you cannot practice. So even if you do endurance, you may not know what the conditions are going to be under which you have to do these individual immunity challenges that are set to come up. So I do like that. So yeah, they go to their merge feast because they won. And Jam Jam is immediately worried, like, oh shit, excuse my language. He's like, I'm going home. You know, he goes, they go back, they're all talking in the water. I think it's Danny, Kane, and Jam Jam. And they're like, well, who do you want to vote for? And Jam Jam makes a rookie mistake. He names a name. He names Josh. And it's like, as soon as he gets out the water, he's like, oh, what did I do? I shouldn't have named a name. Everybody knows you have to wait because you're on the losing side. So you don't want to say anything that will affect how people look at you. Because you don't know. I mean, Danny was talking about working with Josh. So the fact that you're saying that could have backfired on you, and he could be like, he wants Josh gone, but that's the one person I want to stay, you know, so that could have been a problem. But over at the merge feast, they're all talking about wanting Josh out as well. So it kind of is working in Jam Jam's favor. But everybody's like, well, what if Josh has an idol? And they're like, okay, we need a plan B. And, you know, they're like, oh, the plan B will be Kane. That's what they decide on. And Carolyn's like, okay, like great plan B, but we don't need one because his idol is fake. And she recounts the story of Josh using his idol, and then she recounts the story of him pulling out an idol and Jam Jam being like, hey, I think I saw those beads at Tree Mail. And everybody's just like, okay, so Josh has an idol and he might play it. There's a real possibility. I'm like, what the heck? Carolyn is giving y'all information that you need. And like, she can't tell you, I know it's fake because I have the real idol from my cage in my place. And I know that what he showed me was fake. And I'm like, why are we going back and forth on this? Carolyn has told you, like, I just feel like she's someone that these people are looking over and overlooking and overlooking. And she's not like playing bad, right? Like she is not that GOAT character that people are trying to push her into. She's actually providing information. She's actually valuable information. She's actually assisting in challenges. Like she's trying. She's actually doing a good job. But I don't know if it's how they look at her or whatever, but they're just pushing her into this role where they just don't take what she says, push her by the wayside. And I'm like, y'all sleeping on a queen right now. Like she is going to sneak her way to that final tribal council and win because you guys keep trying to downplay her and her effect. I mean, she might not make it that far, but still, I'm just like, I don't like that. Then Franny goes and does her work. She tells Josh like, hey, we're voting for Kane. Everything's all good. So Josh is like, okay, if they're voting for Kane, let me go link up with Jam Jam because, you know, that could be an ally. Because if he's not going home, then you don't know what's going to happen in individual immunity and who's going to win what and how things are going to work out. So you want to have as many allies or people that you're working with as possible since it's still so early and you don't really know everybody, which I think was a good move on Josh's part. So they meet and they talk and it's all good. Despite Josh holding on to that grudge of Jam Jam voting him out because he was ready to say Jam Jam at every toss and turn. But he knows how this game works. And that's also why everybody's afraid of him because he does have a good grasp of how things work and how this is a numbers game, an information game, and he understands that. So, you know, Josh isn't stupid. So then they're like, Brandon's like, okay, as long as everybody can keep to what they said and no one tells Kane, we're good. Immediately after, of course it's probably editing, but immediately after, Kane comes over to Carson and goes, was my name brought up? And Carson goes, yeah, but we ultimately decided on Josh. No one likes hearing that their name was brought up. I don't know why people don't know that unless the person says, you can use me. Use me as the dummy. Don't do it. Don't tell them because for some reason, it makes people panic, which in a game like this where it's high stress, lots of secrets, no one really knows what's going on. I get it. You can't just throw anybody's name out like that because you never know when people will be like, yeah, we said we're going to use this as like a dummy name, but what if, right? And then now you're the person going home because you went from the dummy name to the dummy in the game. So, you know, I get it. But then Kane is now running all over, trying to get everybody to switch to Jam Jam because he's like, wait a minute. Because I ain't finna be that second vote. Because if Josh uses his idol, I don't want to be the person that goes home. So I need to now convince Josh to put Jam Jam's name down. Because if everybody votes for Josh and Jam Jam has an idol and puts one name down, that's the person that goes home. So he's now trying to convince all these people. And everybody's like, you know what? Either way, it works for me. I'm like, y'all so fickle. You know, everybody has that Sandra mindset now. If it's not me, we're good to go. When in reality, people should have a stance, you know, and stick to it. And that's what I kind of want, right? So now it seems like there's a lot of chaos going on and finally they're heading to tribal council. But it seems to the viewer that they're heading to tribal council in disarray. But the truth is, it's like, this other vote should just be something to make sure if Josh has an idol, there's someone. But it seems like everybody now is trying to switch their vote to Jam Jam. So I'm like, dang, Jam Jam, you might got to play a shot in the dark because we looking at something serious. And I want Jam Jam to stay. So I was a little worried for him, actually. And then Matt doesn't even have a vote. Like, why are y'all talking to Matt? Like, I know people don't know he doesn't have a vote, but I'm like, this man doesn't even have a vote. I don't care what you have to say. But either way, they get to tribal council, and Jeff, I don't know if production tells them what's going on or who they're talking to or whatever, but it seems like Jeff is just always so in tune with what's happening on the camp. And I feel like obviously he knows a little bit because he's like, okay, we're here at a place where it's almost emerged, so you can kind of guess what's going on, right? So he talks to them, he asks questions like, how is it feeling? Carson starts talking about the confusion. Everybody's talking about how there's a lot of confusion and uncertainty in these times because we're in a situation where we went from camps of 6, 4, 5, 2, 3, and now we're back to 12 people, and you don't really know what someone is thinking. And then Heidi talks, and honestly, I don't think Heidi has talked in like 3 episodes, so like either they're giving her Erica edit, I think that's her name. I can't even remember her season 42 when her name. But either they're giving her, or was it 41? I don't even know what season she won. Dang, I don't like that girl. Not that I don't like her, but I don't remember her. But like either they're giving her an edit like that where no one knew who Erica was till she was sent off during the merge and flipped everything around and then all of a sudden came to win. And that's the type of edit that Heidi is getting, or we just not focused on her. But again, y'all know how I feel about most of these characters. I feel like they're very lackluster. They're not very important. They don't seem very athletic. They don't seem like, I feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe there's not enough challenges. Like I liked when they had reward and immunity because it seemed like we're watching them do challenges and less talking. And I don't know, maybe it's the same amount, but maybe these people are just 10 times more boring. I can't really put my finger on it either way. But yeah, so Heidi has a little talk about how she doesn't know who to trust. And then it's time to vote. So everybody goes to vote. And I'm like, they show Jam Jam. And before he votes, he like takes a breath. So I'm like, dang, he's going to use that shot in the dark, which I think he also should use. So I'm like, he needs to use it. But also, I don't know, because I feel like we are in such a disarray. So I'm just like shook. Like this vote really had me on the edge of my seat. This was like episode 1 vote where I was like, is Brandon going home, or who going home, or what's going on? That's kind of the feeling I got with this vote. And so it came out and they voted. The first vote was Jam Jam, then Josh, then Kane, then Jam Jam. And I was like, oh, damn, Jam Jam's going home. But he didn't. And Josh went home. Kane only had the 1 vote because apparently no one went back to Carolyn to tell her the new plan because she was confused. But now it looks like all the other 5, they made the merge. We're ready to start individual immunities. I'm super excited about that. I want to know who has, that survivor instinct, that survivor strength. Like, I am super excited. Like I said, I feel like this season is good and has so many good parts, and I like the way things are moving. The people are a little boring, but I'm hoping now that we're moving into individual immunity challenges that people become more interesting. Like the people, like I want to like them and like who they are. But you guys tell me what you think. What do you think about these players? Not the season. I mean, tell me about the season too, but what do you think about these players? There's 11 people left. How do you feel? Do you feel like the people are actually entertaining and good and you like them? Or do you just feel like they're kind of lackluster? Please like, comment, subscribe, share, but also come back next week when I drop an episode for episode 7. I'm so excited to see. And I also wonder, is he going to give those other people some food? Or they don't get a merge feast? But either way, I'll see you guys next week. Have fun. Bye.